Hey YouTubers, it's me. Hi YouTubers, it's me, Lonnie Clark, Nuts for Art. I am going to be reading a copy of Karl Grossman's book, but I'm not going to read it start to finish. And I've also got permission from Helen Caldecott to read this book that she wrote. I found it in a thrift store and I sent her a message and asked her, could I read it? And she said, of course I could. So I'm going to be doing, picking both of these books. I'm not going to read them front to back like I did with John Goffman's book. I'm going to pick through them and read stuff that I think is interesting and pertinent because so much has changed. So like right now, I'm going to be reading a little passage from, which is kind of shocking. I mean, I don't know why I'm shocked, to be honest. This country's imprisoning children now, infants, and setting toddlers up in front of an immigration judge. And they've been poisoning us with uranium poisoning and nuclear pollution since the story began. So it is kind of a shock. So if anybody sees my shirt here, KEPW 97.3 FM, this is Eugene Community Radio, which I'm a part of now. And my show, The Age of Fission, it has a time slot, so I got to get my rear-ending gear and get it back on. But you can go to kepw.org and hit the listen button and listen to us online. So I thought I'd just share that with you. Now I'm going to screen share this with Helen Caldecott's book. I'm just going to be reading from his book, her book. But where is it, my dear? Is it here? No, that's my YouTube tags. Karl Grossman? No, that's not it. Well, I'm going to have to switch around. It may take me a minute to find the application windows. So I don't know. I don't know which one it's on. Oh, that's my YouTube tags. Uh-oh. What did I do here? I have no idea. Okay, so I'm going to stop screen sharing. This is the drag with doing this live, is that if I mess up, then you guys see all my mess ups, but I guess it doesn't really matter. So can I go there? Application window. It's not that one. Hold on just a second. Let me go take a peek myself without screen sharing first. There we go. I think I found it. Yippee, I did find it. That's the other good part about live streaming is it doesn't matter, and anybody who's going to listen to this will probably hang in there for the next minute or so. Share, and I have to go here. Da, 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 da. And then let me go back and see. Whoops, that's wrong browser. Let me go back here and present to everyone. I don't know what that does, but it sure made it look funny. There we go. Okay, so this is the book title, which I put the link in there. And any of you who've been following me for any little bit of time knows that I attempted to read this, but oh my God, that was when I was in school and I was working and doing the radio show. And by the time I did it, it was like every time it was like 12:30 at night. And it was horrible. I could barely read. So I just stopped and deleted the whole thing. So I picked this thing up this morning and I really want to get some of this information out to you like this. So I decided instead of reading it straight from front to back, I'm just going to start reading portions of it. So enough of the introductions. Let's get down to it because I don't want to waste your time. This is from the 95th Congress. House of Representatives, this is report 95-1090, nuclear power costs. April 26, 1978, which they know it was 1978, committed to the committee of the whole House of the Senate of the Union in order to be printed. Based on a study by the Environment, Energy, and Natural Resources Subcommittee. On April 12, 1978, the Committee on Government Operations approved and adopted a report titled Nuclear Power Costs. The chairman was directed to transmit a copy to the Speaker of the House. Contrary to widespread belief, nuclear power is no longer a cheap energy source. In fact, when the still unknown costs of radioactive waste and spent nuclear fuel management, decommissioning, and perpetual care are finally included in the rate base, nuclear power may prove to be much more expensive than conventional energy sources such as coal, and may well not be economically competitive with safe, renewable energy alternative sources such as solar power. Nuclear power at the outset of the fuel cycle and at the end of the fuel, and at the, excuse me, I'm sorry, skipped a line. Nuclear power is the only energy technology which has major capitalization costs at the outset of the fuel cycle and at the end of the fuel cycle. And I am going to increase this, bink, 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 so I can read, because I am City 2, so here's what happens. And I'm wearing 2 sets of glasses. Life is fun when you're old, you know, there's just different priorities. Okay, let's get back to this. Where was it? Okay. As the cost of nuclear energy continues to climb, and as the solution to the problems of radioactive waste management continues to elude government and industry, states such as California are rejecting the increased use of nuclear power and favoring the greater use of renewable energy. These developments and others discussed in this report raise major questions for the federal decision makers on how best to cope with the nation's energy crisis in the years ahead. Practical recommendations aimed at a greater economy, efficiency, and effectiveness in government actions are proposed. The same congressional report stressed, quote, if the federal government spent only a small portion of what it's already spent on nuclear power development for the commercialization of solar power, solar-generated electricity would be economically feasible within 5 years. That was 1978, folks. After analyzing the rates and nuclear, was it 78? Beg your pardon. Yes, 1978. They knew. 78. After analyzing the rates of nuclear and non-nuclear utilities in America, Ralph Nader's Public Citizens Critical Mass Energy Project and the Environmental Action Foundation declared, quote, the use of nuclear power to generate electricity has usually resulted in higher utility rates for consumers, unquote. And the, quote, long-held claims of consumer savings is largely a myth. There is a strong correlation between the use of nuclear power and the rise of electricity rates, unquote. And things will get worse as uranium becomes more scarce. Well, you know what? It's not that scarce. They just opened up South America. That's why we have the Zika virus, because those people were suffering from uranium poisoning and they called it the Zika virus. Let's talk about this. What about jobs? Nuclear power provides very few jobs. A nuclear plant is manned by only 100 workers. Nuclear power plants are capital intensive and thus produce fewer jobs, said the Congressional Nuclear Power Cost Reports, puts it, emphasizing that the renewable energy sources, such as solar and conservation, produce many jobs. A study on the Council on Economic Priorities projects more than twice as many jobs created for the energy produced if the same amount of dollars are invested in solar heating and cooling, energy saving, re-insulation, and some 34 available measures. And this takes into full account construction jobs in building a nuclear facility. Wow. These jobs quickly vanish while the alternative options create jobs for solar installers and maintenance people, plumbers, metal sheet workers, home improvement workers, and many others for a long time to come. Here we are. What is the principle behind nuclear power? I think I'm going to stop here and just make this short and sweet. Stop sharing. I think I'm back here again. Sorry about that, guys. So I'm going to be reading you little snippets like this so that we can keep remembering that nuclear power is not safe, that the government has known for a super long time that nuclear power is not safe. They have known for a long time that it is extremely expensive. That report was 1978. And I do want to do another quick little online thing, and mostly because I want to give Helen Caldecott her own separate little thing from Karl Grossman. I don't want to just lump them all up in one. But, you know, this is not new news, but for some reason, well, it's not for some reason, it's ultimate corruption. It's like they already know they're killing us, so they might as well dig in and make shitloads of money off of us. So, I don't know about you guys, but man, the more I recognize how all-encompassing this nuclear monster is in every aspect of our lives, it just, maybe because I grew up so brainwashed to believe that America had integrity, that I am shocked, utterly shocked. I'm not really utterly shocked. Well, I am. I still can't get over it. I still 5 years in, folks, and I'm still utterly shocked. Our elected officials right now in this state of Oregon are refusing to stand up against nuclear. They all three endorse the small nuclear modular reactors. None of them will actually call for the closing of the Columbia Generating Station, even though we are clear and present danger from a major earthquake there. And if that happens, it's bye-bye North America. I don't know. Like, I am just like, what are we going to do? Like, I'm coming to YouTube just because I need to vent, I guess. I mean, part of why I've been silent is I just like feel like it's all white noise. That's why I really love Gavi Faki's work, because usually she puts out like hardcore acid rock music with nuclear images and stuff. And so I love that, actually, because that's really where we're at. And that type of music is exactly what it's generated, right? So I don't know. I'm going to keep coming back to YouTube, mostly because it makes me healthier. I think that I've been silent the last few weeks, and I need community in this. And you guys are my community, because out in that place, there's nobody. Even here, these people are anti-nukes. The guy who started Eugene Peaceworks, Rick Gold, he's the only person that's ever showed up with me at any of these anti-nuclear protests, him and his gal pal. And the videographer that has hung around with them. You've seen us. If you look in our old videos, there's only 3 or 4 people out there in Salem, Oregon with me protesting. So now we got Kevin Finnegan, and I don't think Jerome will go out and protest. He's just not gonna. But what a trip, you guys. This book just blew me away. I was reading it again, and I picked up this book also, The New Nuclear Danger. This was written in 2002. I don't know. What a trip, huh? Anyways, you guys, I'm going to end here. Please put your courage feet on, because we definitely need it. We're getting super screwed and poisoned all at the same time. And thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me. And subscribe if you're just now finding my channel. And I really love you guys. And you know what? We're like this digital community of people who are outcast because we refuse to be silent. And we say the N-word. It's not the word about people of color. The N-word is nuclear. The new N-word is nuclear. If you say that word, you are ostracized. So, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I can't stop thinking about it. Every time I go swimming in a river, I wonder if this is the day that I'm going to get poisoned. I've started eating yogurt again. Every time I eat yogurt, I wonder about it. So I don't know. Bye, you guys. Love you. Talk to you in a minute. I'm going to do another little video. Ciao.